everyone, I hope you all are really doing well. So today we'll be starting with an important chapter of your geography, manufacturing industries, which has a lot of details in it. So let's understand this chapter step by step. Firstly, what is manufacturing? Manufacturing is production of goods in large quantity after processing it from its raw material to more valuable finished products. That is, for example, when we manufacture sugar from sugarcane, we take a raw material, we process on it, manufacture it, change it into a valuable or finished product and sell it, and this is done in large quantity. So this is itself termed as manufacturing. Like we manufacture paper from trees, sugar from sugarcane, iron and steel from iron ore, etc. Now all the people employed in this manufacturing sector come under the secondary sector activities. Another important thing, the economic strength of a country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries. Now, why do we say this? So just think it in a basic sense. If there will be more industries, more valuable products will be formed, there will be more employment, there will be more work for the farmers, then the export of these products will give us more foreign exchange, more trade, more commerce. So being more number of manufacturing industries will help us in various ways. So that's why it is called the economic strength of a country is measured by the development of the manufacturing industry. Now let us understand that why is manufacturing considered as the backbone of economic development. Firstly, manufacturing industries will help to modernize agriculture because they will provide them with tools and they'll take up raw materials from them. Also, they will reduce the dependence on agriculture of people by providing them jobs and employment in the manufacturing sector. Manufacturing sector or manufacturing industries will help to eradicate the unemployment and poverty until some extent because more jobs will be created, people will move on from agriculture, some of them will come and set their businesses in industries, some of them will work in service sector. Manufacturing industries also help in bringing down the regional disparities and modernizing the rural areas. Then the export of these manufactured goods will expand trade and commerce. It will bring more of foreign exchange in our country. So India should convert more and more raw materials into more valuable and finished products. It should diverse its manufacturing unit. It should make it bigger so that India can prosper because there are so many advantages of this, right? Now, agriculture and industries both move hand in hand. How do we support this? Now, raw materials for the agro-based industries come from the agriculture. So, agriculture helps in manufacturing. At the same time, manufacturing modernizes agriculture by providing pesticides, fertilizers, machineries so that they can improve their production or productivity. In the present world where there is so much competition for India with the foreign products, India has to become self-sufficient and it has to improve the quality of its products and it has to expand its manufacturing sector in order to stand up in a good position. Now, contribution of this manufacturing industry to the economy. It is about 17%. Actually, it is 27%, but the other 10% is for mining, quarrying, electricity, gas, which is not much counted. So there is 17% of this manufacturing sector contributes to our GDP, which is very less compared to the other countries where it is from 25 to 35%. And the desired growth rate of our percentage of contribution in GDP of the manufacturing sector is said to be 9 to 10%, and economists say that we will achieve it in the next decade. Now, government has set up some policies that focus on improving the quality of products, improving the productivity, etc. NCERT was also set up with the same objective to encourage the manufacturing units to improve their quality and increase their productivity. NCERT is National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. Now, do you agree that there are so many factors on which industrial location depends? Now, if I have to set up an industry somewhere, I will look for proper skilled and unskilled labor that I need for manufacturing, availability of raw materials, low cost of transportation, proper and regular supply of electricity, good quality of machineries, and appropriate government policies so that my industry prospers in that particular area. So the industrial locations are very complex in nature. We should think about the availability of raw material, labor, capital, power, market, transport and many other factors. And finding all the factors in one place is mostly impossible. So industrialists try to locate the industries in such a way or in such a place where they get most of these factors easily, or other factors which they are not available can be arranged in low cost. Now we have to keep in mind that industrialization and urbanization both are not same. Industrialization is when an industry is set up and that area, many industries are set up in that area, we call industrialization is happening. Whereas urbanization is a process after industrialization. Now I'll explain you. If in one place some industries are set up, another 2-3 industries come and set up in that place, and then there are many people who will be employed there, many people, so housing facilities will come, their children are there, so they'll go to school, so schools will come, hospitals will come, malls will come. So all this, because of setting up of industries, the urbanization has took place. That backward area has got converted into a town and slowly will get converted into a city. So we can say that industrialization follows urbanization. Or basically they both go hand in hand. Now you have an important term to study here, urban agglomeration economies. Now what are agglomeration economies? When many industries tend to come together to make use of the advantages offered by the urban centers is known as urban agglomeration economies. Now, let me explain it to you in a simple language. When many industries they come together, now suppose near a city there's a lot of place, so many industries will come and set up there so that they can take up the advantages that are offered by cities such as banking, insurance, transport, labor, financial advice and all these things, and they can together make use of these. For that when many industries come together, it is known as agglomeration economies. Now as you know, in the pre-independence period, that means before independence, the main industrialization centers or industrial centers were Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai, because they had most of the factors available and also overseas trade was possible there. So now one thing is clear, that a key decision to locate the factory is least cost. Every industrialist would think that if my production is carried on by the least cost, I can gain maximum profit, and nobody wants to be in loss, right? Everyone wants profit. So that's why the key decision is to keep the production cost the least. Now, other than all other factors, industrialists also check appropriate government policies are there which support their interest or not. Because if there is some area where every time there's protests or rallies or strikes happen, then what's the use? The industry will shut down, many a times losses they will face. So they search for a place where the government policies are also good. Now we have classification of industries. Based on the raw materials, we have two: agro-based, that means for which raw material is agriculture, and mineral-based, for which raw materials are minerals. Again, on the classification of main role, that means either they are basic or key industries. That means the industries make the products and those products will act as raw materials or which help in the production of other products for other industries. That means nut, bolt, iron and steel industry, these all things come under basic or key industries. And secondly, considering the main role, it is consumer industry. That means the industries produce something directly that goes to the hand of the consumer, like paper, toothpaste, sugar, etc. Based on the capital investment we have made to set that industry, there are three. One is cottage industry, that is the production is carried out in a house. Small scale production basically. Secondly are small scale industries for which capital investment is less than 1 crore. And third one are the large scale industries for which capital investment is more than 1 crore. Now on the basis of ownership, there are four. First is public sector, that means it is owned by government. For example, BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electronic Limited, or SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. Second one is private sector, in which most of the industries are owned by either one individual or group of individuals, like Tisco, Bajaj Auto, Dabur, etc. Thirdly, it is joint sector, where the government and the private sector join together to own some industry. That means the industry are jointly run by government and also some individuals. Fourthly, it is the cooperative sector, where people own the industry, they have shares among themselves and they divide the profit or the losses whatever come. So the sugar industry in Maharashtra is running very well under cooperatives. Also the coir industry in Kerala, and Amul, which is not there in your textbook, but it's an example of it. And the example of joint sector is Oil India Limited, OIL. Based on the bulk and weight of the raw materials, there are heavy industries such as iron and steel industries and light industries such as electrical industries and stuff like that. Now we are going to study everything in a detailed and step-by-step manner. So basically agro-based industries like cotton, jute, silk, woolen textiles, edible oil, sugar, all these come under agro-based industries which has agriculture as the raw material. Now, textile industry is one of the very important industries which is sufficient and self-reliant in value chain. That is from spinning the thread, making the thread till weaving and dyeing and everything till making a cloth ready. We have all the resources and we do it in our country itself. This industry contributes around 4% to our GDP and employs 35 million people directly and so many more indirectly, which is maximum after the agricultural sector. So as I said, this is an industry complete in its value chain from fiber production, from raw fiber to spinning, yarn making, weaving it, making a fabric out of it, dyeing and making proper garments. Now, cotton textile. In ancient India, cotton textiles were done with hand spinning or hand loom, that is khadi and all these things. But now, after 18th century, there were power looms that were introduced. So our Indian cotton cloths could not compete with the competition or the milk-made cloths from England. The first successful textile mill was established in Mumbai in 1854. This is important, you have to remember this. And at the time of First World War, there was a demand for our Indian-made clothes, so that time the industries had prospered a little bit, but after that again. So these cotton textile industries are carried out in small-scale production also, large-scale production also, and khadi spinning is done in cottage industry also. Mainly, these cotton industries are set up near Maharashtra and Gujarat because it has a long concentration of cotton growing belt. It has good black soil, moist climate, proper port facilities, transportation facilities, good labor, availability of the raw cotton and market. Now, this industry provides employment to many people, not only to the people who cultivate cotton, also to the cotton ball pluckers, workers engaged in ginning, spinning work, weaving work, people who are dyeing the cloths, designing it, packaging it, tailoring it, sewing it, other engineers and many other people. So this industry is considered very important to the economy. So now what about the export? India exports the best quality yarn which acquires 25% of the world trade of yarn, cotton yarn. But India is not so good at exporting with garments which acquires only 4% of the world trade. Now why does this happen? Let's understand that growing cotton is mostly done in Gujarat and Maharashtra, but weaving it and designing it is spread out all over the country in order to incorporate different types of skills and designs. So what happens when the yarn is produced, it is good quality yarn and people export it because there are no large scale industries that can do the weaving work and make the garments under one large scale roof. The weaving work is largely scattered in India because of which the yarn producers get good prices of yarn, so they export it directly. When they export the good quality yarn, medium quality or normal quality yarn is available in India. So when we make garments out of it, they can't compete with that good quality yarn that we have already exported outside. So it happens that our yarn is the best quality, but the garments that we supply are not that best. So now what can be done in order to prosper this industry or increase the production? We can stop exporting that good quality yarn and instead make clothes or garments out of that good quality yarn and then export it. Because suppose yarn is sold at 85 rupees per kg, so when we make a trouser out of it, it can fetch 800 rupees in the trade. So we can improve our financial condition and economic prosperity as well. So now what are the drawbacks of this industry? So first drawback we had learned that good quality yarn is already exported, so our garments cannot compete. Secondly, it faces a stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry. Thirdly, the labor has low output, labor are not that productive. Then the power supply is erratic and the machineries are old and insufficient. Now let's start with another industry of jute textiles. India is the largest producer of raw jute and it stands at the second place at jute products after Bangladesh. So basically what happened at the time of independence when partition took place, 80% of the jute cultivating area went to the East Pakistan, that is Bangladesh, and only 20% of that was left in India. But all the mills and factories where jute was processed remained in India and very few went to Bangladesh. So we have little less jute cultivating area but we have good amount of factories there. So the first jute mill was set up in 1859 at Rishra in Kolkata. Now, most of the jute production is carried out at the Kolkata side near the Hooghly River. So why is it so? Basically, at the bank of Hooghly River, we have a narrow belt of 98 kilometers into 3 kilometers where all the jute grows. So first thing is that availability of raw material is there, so there only mills have set up. So one factor is about the proximity of jute producing area. Secondly, we have good water transport, also supported by proper developed railway network, road network. That means transportation is good. Then we have abundance of water resource that we need for processing raw jute to make more products out of it. So Hooghly River is there, so from there we get water. Then there's cheap labor from the neighboring states like West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Uttar Pradesh. Then Kolkata is a urban center, it's a metropolitan city, so it has good banking facilities, insurance facilities, port facilities, and for the export of jute. But this industry does not prosper so much as the way we expect because there are challenges faced. Firstly, it has a stiff competition with the international market of synthetic fibers like nylon and many other. Then it has other competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt and Thailand who also produce good amount of jute. And again, there are some old machineries which are not able to produce good. But the internal demand of jute has been a bit in increase because of the government policy of 2005, that is the National Jute Policy. It has helped to increase the productivity, improve the quality, ensure good prices to the jute producers and also improve the yield per hectare. Jute is also eco-friendly, so the growing concern of jute has been in an increase. Then also the main markets where we export our jute is USA, Canada, Russia, United Arab Republic, UK, Australia, etc. Now the sugar industry. So India is in the first number of the production of gur and khansari and the second number in the production of sugar. The sugar mills are mostly located in Uttar Pradesh, like the 60% of the mills in India are located in Uttar Pradesh, and other states like Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, etc. So basically this industry is seasonal in nature, so the industry is suitable for the cooperative sector, and as we have learned that cooperative sectors work really well in Maharashtra and Gujarat, that is the western and the southern India. So this industry has a gradual shift from northern side to the western India, especially in the state of Maharashtra. Various reasons for this is that the sucrose content is higher, that means the sugar content in the sugarcane produced there is higher. It has a cooler climate which ensures longer crushing season, and also the cooperatives are more successful in these states. So the industry prospers in these areas. Now the major challenges faced by this industry is that it is seasonal in nature. It has old and inefficient methods of production and machinery. The area where sugarcane is produced and the factory should not be too far because transportation delay will reduce its sucrose content, because due to haulage the sucrose content in it reduces, and of course it's a loss then. And then the maximum use of buggies has to be done, that is the remains of sugarcane. Coming to the second industry, iron and steel industry. Now, iron and steel industry is a very important basic or key industry because it supplies many things that help in the production for other industries like machineries, nut, bolts, small devices, tools. And steel is also very important in manufacturing of the defense materials, construction materials, engineering goods, medical, telephone, scientific equipments, other tools, also in the production of vessels, utensils, aircrafts and many much that we see in our day-to-day life. So production and consumption of steel is often regarded or connected with the development of the country. A country which produces more steel and consumes more steel is considered to be more developed, so the index of development is measured by the production of steel. Now, iron and steel industry also come under heavy industry because both its raw material and finished goods are bulky and heavy. Now, how do we make steel? So, for making steel, we need iron ore, coking coal and limestone in the ratio 4 is to 2 is to 1. 4 ka half to 2 ka half 1. Iron ore, coking coal and limestone in the ratio 4 is to 2 is to 1. Along with that, we have to add a little manganese to harden the steel and give it a long life. Now, India was the largest producer of sponge iron in 2014 and among the fourth largest producer of steel. And the world average is 217 kgs of the consumption, per capita consumption of steel. But in India, it is just 60 kgs. So there's a lot of difference with the average. You know, in 1950, China and India produced mostly the same amount of steel, but something happened because of which China just raised up its production and India was still competing. And today, China is the world's largest producer and consumer of steel. Now, most of the public sector undertakings market their steel through Steel Authority of India Limited, which is a public sector undertaking again. Now, most of the iron and steel plants are located near the Chota Nagpur Plateau region, and this is because the iron and steel ores are located there. Not iron and steel ores, it's just iron ore is located there. It has low cost of iron ore so that transportation cost will be reduced, high grade of raw materials, cheap labor and growth potential is there because the market is even wider. India is an important exporter of iron and steel, but still we can perform till our full potential. Now what stops us? What are the drawbacks? Firstly, high cost and limited availability of coking coal, which is needed to make steel in the ratio 2. So the high cost and limited availability of coking coal, also the lower productivity of labor, irregular supply of energy, poor infrastructure and not that developed and good quality machineries are all considered as a drawback. India also imports some good quality steel from other countries, but however, liberalization and foreign direct investment policy have given a boost to this industry and now efforts are done by the private entrepreneurs to develop and diversify this. Now, aluminium smelting. This is the second most important metallurgical industry because aluminium is gaining so much popularity in the substitute of steel, zinc, copper, lead because it is light, resistant to corrosion, it is a good conductor of both heat and electricity, it is malleable and ductile and becomes strong when other metals are mixed with it. So it can gain a long life as well. It is used to manufacture various goods in our daily life like wires, utensils and also in the manufacturing of aircraft. Now the aluminium smelting plants are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. You don't have to remember all of these, just keep a vague idea in your mind. Now all of you might know, aluminium is extracted from the ore of bauxite and this raw material is very bulky and it is a dark reddish rock. So there are two important things that have to be fulfilled while setting up this industry. Firstly, supply of electricity has to be regular because most of the work here is done by electricity. You need electricity for this. And secondly, the raw materials should be arranged at minimum cost. So, do you want me to start the next one? Yes, next is the chemical industry. Chemical industry is one of the fast growing and diversifying industry in India which starts among third place in the Asia and also contributes 3% to our GDP. It comprises both as large scale manufacturing and small scale manufacturing unit. Now, as you all know, there are organic chemicals and inorganic chemicals. So, in organic chemicals, these chemicals include petrochemicals and manufacturing of the synthetic fibers, synthetic rubber, plastic, dye stuff, drugs and pharmaceuticals. So basically organic chemical industries are set up near the petrochemical plants. But the inorganic chemical industry is spread everywhere in India. It includes manufacturing from sulfuric acid, which is used to manufacture fertilizers, paints, plastic, adhesives, synthetic fibers, dye stuff. Also, nitric acid, alkalis, and soda ash are used to manufacture glass, soap, detergent, paper, and also manufacturing from caustic soda is done. So basically, organic includes the manufacturing from acids and bases, and inorganic includes manufacturing from the carbon hydrogen chains. Now, chemical industry is its own largest consumer because for making more chemicals, the chemicals that are already made are consumed. Then for making further strong chemicals, other chemicals are consumed. So it is itself its larger consumer. And this industry acts as a basic and key industry as well as a consumer industry because chemicals are used by everybody less or more. So next is the fertilizer industry. Fertilizer industry in India has three main types of fertilizer. Firstly, the nitrogenous fertilizers which mainly has urea and there are 57 fertilizer units of these. Secondly, we have ammonium phosphate or phosphatic fertilizers which have 29 fertilizer units in India. And thirdly, we have a complex fertilizers, that means it combines of nitrogen, phosphate and potash, which have 9 fertilizer units. Now basically, the potash, the third ingredient, that the potash is not found in India anywhere and it is entirely imported from other countries. The first industry, that is nitrogenous fertilizer industry, is the third largest in India. Now we have 10 public undertakings of this industry and one is a cooperative sector at Hazira in Gujarat. Basically, after the Green Revolution, this industry has got a major boost in India and it has spread its production in many states. Now let's start with the cement industry. Cement is essential for all the construction activities of different infrastructures, as you know. But this industry requires heavy and bulky raw materials like limestone, silica, gypsum, and alumina. Coal and electric power need to be supplied regularly for the prospering of this industry, and as the raw materials are heavy and bulky, rail transportation is needed. Now, most of these industries are set up in Gujarat because it has a good market in the Gulf countries. The first cement plant was set up in Chennai in 1904, and this industry has a very good internal demand within the country as well. And because of the improvement in the quality, the demand for it has increased in Middle East Asia, Africa, Southeast Asia, and South Asia. And this industry is doing really well in terms of production, consumption, and export altogether. Next is automobile industry. About this industry, there's nothing much detail that is given in your book. But just after liberalization, many of the foreign companies started coming to India and invest in the automobile industry, because of which there are a variety of vehicles of different company, different designs that we can see on our roads. The main industry is located and prospering in the area around Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, Indore, Jamshedpur, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. Now let's talk about the information technology and electronics industry. This industry covers a wide range of telecommunication equipments, radars, cell phones, telephones, fax, papers, and many devices. Bangalore, as you know, has emerged as an electronic capital of India, and other important centers of this are Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad, Lucknow, Kolkata, and Coimbatore. There are more and more STPs, software technology parks, that have come up across different parts of India. And also, this industry has brought so much foreign exchange because of the growing business process outsourcing BPO. And the continuing growth of software and hardware industry along with the computer industry is a success behind this IT industry because it also supports it. Now, if we talk about employment generation, it is encouraging to know that 30% of the people who are employed under this industry are women. So women employment is good here in this industry. Now, all the manufacturing industries and this sector brings a lot of development and profit in our country, but it also causes a lot of harm to our environment. It causes 4 to 5 different types of production about which we'll be talking in detail in the next video. For today, this is enough. Goodbye and take care.